not being able to see Connor raise his kids and get married and enjoy the rest of his life, because somebody was drinking and driving that night. So
yeah. What I talk about seeing you as a father figure and how great you are. I think that's one of the reasons why I can feel your pain through the loss of Connor. And again, I don't know you guys as well as I'd like to have, but I can feel your pain because I see what a passionate father you are, and it really touched me profoundly over the years since he's been gone. To kind of go through that process in my own little way from a distance. So you set a great example for people to live by and how you treat your family. It's ironic, we're sitting in the Blue Sea headquarters, and one of the coolest posters I've ever had from racing or anything I've ever done was of your boys and the dirt bike.
Yeah.
When we all supported their effort to go race down there. So they had the snake and everything.
And we lost that race by, I think it was 2 minutes that
so
year.
Close.
Oh, it was terrible. The 1,000. Yeah, those are really great days. Nerve-wracking for us.
Yeah, I bet.
But a lot more so now after Connor's death. Like I said, we're so much more paranoid with whatever our kids do.
Yeah.
And it's like they're grown adults, and Mom, Dad, you know what? What are you bothering us on the phone for? It's like, okay, just want to make sure you got to, point A or point B, and unfortunately, but what I tell my kids is, just wait till you have your own kids, then you'll understand.
Yep, I'm going through that right now.
Yeah.
As we kind of wrap this thing up, we talked before the show about the drinking and driving, and I know you've got a public message that I'd love for people to hear. If you want to tell us what that is.
Yeah. Well, the Connor Penhall Memorial Cup is actually coming up May 30th tomorrow, and it's our 4th annual, and we're really stoked about it. I wish we didn't have it, because that means Connor would still be alive. But he dabbled in junior speedway very little. He was more into off-road, and the speedway public has come together, as well as all of our partners, and have been able to put this really bitchin' race on, once a year, and it's great. And we just want to try to bring awareness to drinking and driving, and I'm quite involved with the Drive for Life program, which it's all over the country, and it's an organization that a lot of these cities have. If their kids, the parents come as well, the kids, and what they do is, if the kids get a ticket, they can go to this class. It's a full day, and they can get that ticket erased. And it's a really tough, gruesome class.
Yeah.
And I go in there, and they're 4 times a year, and I go and I speak, and I try to tell these kids, they're watching these videos, and they are very gruesome, and it's extremely hard for me to watch this. It's really hard. But the way I look at it is, hopefully my words will help. And I used to say one person. I've gotten a little greedy now. I want my words to help 100 people in this class.
Yeah.
I really do. They need to listen. And they're watching this, and sometimes they laugh and they joke about it. Well, I'm sitting here with the worst stomach ache in the world because I've lived with this, as my wife and my kids have, and millions of other people. I'm able to discuss, the reality of what happens if you do drink and drive and you do kill someone, what your life is going to be like.
Yeah.
And it's tough, and it's a life changer, and I don't wish anybody in this club that we're in. I really don't. But if it can help, that's what it's all about. And, Mothers Against Drunk Driving is big into this class as well. And I just we look at 10,000 lives lost a year from drivers under the influence. It's a serious, serious problem. And I'm hoping that we can just help out a little bit,
Yeah. Well, I think some listeners might think it's ironic because they know who I am and what my background is, that I've been involved in the alcohol industry the last 25 years. But for all those listening, everybody in the alcohol industry also practices safe behaviors, and that's being responsible. We think it's great that you can go out and have a good time, whether you're at
Right.
home or somewhere else, but there's so many options available to you. You gave me a statistic on Uber before the show. What was that?
Well, first, 10,000 lives were lost from driving under the influence. That's been cut in half over this last year because of Uber and all of these driving programs that have come up.
Yeah,
now. And
Lyft and the list
and
goes on.
Yeah, the list goes on, and great for them, and it's really good, and I love that, but there's still a serious problem.
Yeah, sure.
There really is,
Sure.
And not only that, there's a serious problem with a lot of the weed out there these days. It's the same thing. You're still driving under the influence. So, we want people to have a good time. Absolutely, go have a good time. But just be responsible.
Yep.
Yep. Don't drink and drive, and don't drive with anyone that has been drinking.
Yeah.
It's just you just have to make that mark in life now, and because I'm telling you, I don't want people to have to experience what our family has, and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of other families. When I got that phone call at about 11 o'clock at night, when one of my employees is out on that, and this is a closed freeway, said that there's been an accident and Connor's been hit. I think I was in a little bit of denial, and plus I was asleep, and I got in. I yelled down, and my daughter was at home, and so was my wife is downstairs. And what do you mean? And we're kind of freaking out, and I didn't want to lift up the phone again. I lift up the phone to call my employee just literally 10 minutes later, and he says he didn't make it.
Wow.
And I've got my daughter in the car. Ryan was living in San Diego, and Devin, my oldest boy, was up in L.A. to make those phone calls, and then to pull up onto which was a crime scene, and have to look and see my son under a blanket, for a good 6 hours because they had to do their investigation.
Yeah.
And then from that day to this day to have to deal with all that, and the circumstances, and it's just something that I can't explain, but there's a lot that understand and have gone through the same, but there's a way around it. Don't drink and drive.
Well, and like you said, if you can change 100 people's opinions and decision-making process, we feel the same in what we do too. So thank you for sharing that. I know it's difficult, but I think it's important, and especially coming from somebody that's in that industry, we want people to be responsible. So
yeah, thanks, Jim. I didn't mean to go that direction, but
you know what? We
helps.
believe in authenticity around here, and we appreciate you being as real as it gets, because I think that's how we all learn, right? And from those learnings, we can make decisions to do things or not to do them, and hopefully the answer yes on that one is picking up the phone and calling Uber.
Yeah.
Or another service. It's amazing to me, because I am out a lot in my business, culturally how normal it is for people. I'm going to grab my Uber.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's pretty cool, actually.
It's very cool.
It is part of
cool.
the every conversation now. And when
Yeah.
you go out to the curb outside those bars, everybody's
I love it.
It's pretty cool. So I think we've progressed, and I hope that people continue to progress. Just incredible to hear your story here. Everything that you've been involved with, and all the times that you've had to make big decisions, and the things that you've done. Thanks for your years of racing. I am looking so forward to your event every year.
Thanks, man.
I don't know enough about Speedway, but I do know when I've been to your events, I had a great time. So I can't wait, and I think everybody should try to attend if they can. I know this will air after your event, but they can look for it in the future. And thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much. And you're right, though. The bottom line is we have to learn from those mistakes.
Yeah.
It's so important, and we can. We can. Thanks so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, our pleasure. Hey, what a great time listening to Bruce's story and talking to him. Get all that history from his Speedway days over in Europe, racing there and just winning and chasing championships. And he's really fortunate to have parents that were supportive of that, even though I know it's tough to be racing and worry about all the dangers of doing that sport. But what a great guy. And I love his career path of going into acting and then back into the business that his family was in, making those types of decisions and saying yes to acting, and then, yes to starting a new business, because sometimes you just realize in life where you need to be or what's going to pay the bills or ultimately make you happy. One of the things I always like to think about in business life is exiting with style. And I think that Bruce did that fantastically on the podium. He decided that he was going to run his last race, and he exited with style on top of his A game. And if you're in a career or you're working for somebody and you know that you want to leave, keep that in mind. Exit with style, because you can always feel good about exiting the right way as opposed to walking out, dropping the apron on the floor and marching out the back door. But if you can exit with style, you never know. You might need that job back, or you might meet those people later on in life, and they will always remember if you exited the right way and did the right thing by you and by the company or the people that you're working with and for. I know I've been there a few times, both on the good side and on the bad. I want to say in my later years I've learned to exit with style and appreciate the decision that I decided to make. Early on, I know that I had a couple jobs. I kind of dropped the apron and ran, but keep that in mind. Exit with style. Nice piece of advice. And then, as I usually say at the end of the show, when you think about David Meltzer and his quote, or something that he likes people to think about, is more than enough, and all the things in your life that you may have more than enough of. It allows us to appreciate our days and the hard work and efforts, because I think everybody has something to celebrate and have. And I always use the quote, "What you believe is what you will achieve," by Mark Victor Hansen. Hey, if you like this show, please share it with your friends and family and ask them to subscribe on iTunes. It's free, or you can now go to iHeartRadio and a number of other choices, but we prefer those two. And keep listening. If you have suggestions, or if you want to be on the show, you've got a business background that you feel would be worthy sharing with the public, please hit me up. If you have your own podcast and you'd like me to be on your show, I like being a guest and telling my story. So please spread the word. It means the world to us. We really appreciate it. That's how we keep this thing going. And I am open for any feedback. So thanks. Look forward to sharing another guest with you next week. Tune in, and lots of exciting things to come. Bye.